we're going to talk about the 5 mistakes that will make your trust fail. You can have a trust, sign all the documents correctly, and do everything that your attorney told you to do, and your family could still end up in the probate courts with unpaid bills, frozen accounts, and the inability to access your assets or your money. We don't usually see problems because people failed the plan. We will see problems when people thought that the planning process was complete and they forgot some missteps. Today we're going to talk about the 5 biggest mistakes that will make your trust fail when you become incapacitated or you pass away. And these mistakes will not show up until an emergency or a death happens, and then your family figures out that something went wrong. These are not going to be beginner mistakes. Most people will make these mistakes even though they are responsible. They've done everything that their attorney has told them to do. They had a trust, they signed the documents, and they did everything that they were told. And then when an emergency happens, reality shows up and they've figured out that they did not do things correctly. So let's get started with mistake number 5. This one's going to be that the trust owns the assets, but no one actually has the authority to manage the assets inside of that trust. This will most often happen when you have rental properties, a business, LLCs, or investment accounts. Now, if you don't own these, this will not apply to you, but this is something that most families are going to be dealing with. Now, on paper, the trust will own everything correctly, but they forget to separate out 2 different ideas. 1, who owns the assets, and then 2, who's going to be in control of managing those assets when they are inside of that trust. So here's what this looks like in real life. The husband is the only trustee of the revocable trust, and then they become incapacitated, but they have a successor trustee or a backup trustee named in that trust document who can immediately step in and take over the management of the assets inside of that trust. Now, if the trust document is not set up correctly, then the institutions will not recognize that successor trustee as having authority to manage those assets inside the trust. And when this happens, your rent cannot be collected, contractors cannot be paid, lease agreements cannot be signed, and then your accounts will also be frozen. When this is happening, the trust still owns the assets, and those assets will avoid the probate courts when an emergency happens, but the family will still experience a financial shutdown of the assets inside of that trust. Now, a properly structured revocable trust will outline the authority that the successor trustee also has, so that when an emergency happens, they can immediately step in without the court's involvement and take over the management of the assets inside of that trust. Mistake number 4 is going to be transferring your properties into that revocable trust without updating your insurance policy. Now, the problem with this one is that your insurance company will have the right to not pay out any claims on the property that's inside of that trust. The reason being is that when you transfer ownership out of your name into the name of a trust, the trust now owns that property, and the agreement that you have with your insurance company is that you will maintain ownership over that property. So you have breached the agreement that you have with your insurance company, which gives them the right to not pay out any claims on the property inside of that trust. So when you're putting property inside of a revocable trust, you have to go to your insurance company and add the revocable trust as the additional insured on that policy. You'll still be the named insured and manage and pay for that policy, but then the revocable trust will still have coverage and the claims will be paid out to that revocable trust. Mistake number 3 is going to be that you have transferred your LLC into the trust and the trust now owns it, but you forgot to update your LLC documentation to show that the trust owns it. This one really messes up business owners and real estate investors because they have transferred the LLC into the revocable trust, and then on paper everything looks correct. The LLC will avoid the probate courts when you pass away and immediately go out to your family. The problem is going to be is if you do not update your LLC documentation, no one will have the authority to actually come in and access the assets and the money inside of that LLC to take over the operations. So you have to make sure you're updating your LLC operating agreement to show that the trust can actually own that LLC and that the successor trustee has the authority to manage the LLC when you pass away. You also want to make sure you're updating your operating agreement to name a backup manager so that when you pass away, someone else can step in and take over the management of the operation inside of that LLC. That way your LLC will avoid the probate courts when you pass away, and then you have someone who can step in and manage the operations. Mistake number 2 is that your beneficiary designations on your financial accounts can override your trust. Now, this one happens all the time with retirement accounts, investment accounts, and life insurance policies. People will assume that once they have that revocable trust set up, that all of your financial accounts will follow the instructions inside of that trust, but that's not how it's going to work. You can outline the rules of management management and distribution of the money from your life insurance policies, your investment accounts, your retirement accounts. But if you have designated beneficiaries on those accounts that are not that revocable trust, that money will not go into that revocable trust when you pass away. It will go out to the individuals that you have named on those accounts. And so that makes the revocable trust voided in terms of the rules for managing and distributing the money from those accounts. So some of the problems that we have seen from this is that an ex-spouse had been listed as the designated beneficiary. You can imagine that creates some problems. Children are receiving large lump sum payouts from those accounts instead of that money going into that revocable trust to control the distribution of the money out to the kids. And then unequal distributions between the children creates resentment between them and disputes during the probate process. And then when you distribute that money directly out to the children from those financial accounts, and that money is now in their personal name, it's now exposed to their liabilities like divorce settlements, car accident lawsuits, or creditors coming after them. And so what you need to do is make sure you're naming the revocable trust as the designated beneficiary where it's appropriate, and then that money will dump into that revocable trust when you pass away, and then you can control and manage the distribution of that money out to your children. And if you keep that money inside the trust, you will create a layer of separation between your children and that revocable trust, so that when the liabilities are coming after your children, they are less likely to be able to come after the assets inside of that trust. Mistake number one is going to be treating that trust like a document instead of a system that works together. The biggest mistake that we see people make is thinking that trust document is the actual solution. What it actually is the instruction manual on how to manage and distribute all of the assets inside of your estate. So the whole system includes how your assets are titled. If you still have them in your personal name, they will have to go through the probate courts even if you have that revocable trust set up. So you need to make sure that the assets are actually owned by that revocable trust. Number two is how the insurance is structured. You need to make sure that you're updating your insurance policy so that the revocable trust is actually named as the additional insured. So if you have any claims on the property inside that revocable trust, those claims will get paid out to the trust. Number three is how LLC operating agreements are written. The trust has to actually have the authority to own the LLC per that operating agreement, and then you need to name a backup manager who can step in and manage the operations inside of that LLC when you pass away. Number four is going to be how your designated beneficiaries are set up. So where it's appropriate, you need to name that revocable trust as the designated beneficiary, so that the money inside of those financial accounts are actually taken over by the trust and then managed and distributed per the instructions inside of that trust document, instead of doing a lump sum distribution out to your family. The next one is going to be someone actually has the authority to manage the assets inside that trust. So as an example, if someone needs to manage a rental property or the LLC membership interest or sell a property inside that trust, they actually have to have the authority to be able to take those actions. Then the last one is going to be you have to outline how the assets inside that trust should be managed and then distributed out to the family. So if you want to keep your business or your rentals or your investment accounts inside of that trust to be managed on behalf of your children, you can do that. Or if you want to distribute those assets out to them in a unique way, you can also handle that. So the mistake we see a lot of people make is thinking that once they have that revocable trust set up, everything is good to go. As you are progressing through life, you have to make sure all of your accounts and all of your assets that you sell and buy are actually tied back to that revocable trust, so that when you become incapacitated or you pass away, your family does not have to go to the probate courts to gain the authority to manage the assets inside of your estate. So which of these 5 mistakes surprised you the most? If you want to learn more about how to make your assets and your family avoid the probate courts during incapacity or death, so that your family's not having to go to the courts to get permission to take over the management and control over the assets inside of your estate, click link down below. We have a free live webinar showing you exactly how to keep your family out of the probate courts, and reserve your spot now.